Ooh, boy, I've been waiting for this episode. Ooh, oh man. So if you don't know, I'm doing a review on every single Clone Wars episode that is ever released, starting with season 1 all the way to season 7. Um, and I'm gonna be doing a in-depth review, I guess, on every single episode. Um, we're on episode 10, season 1 here. And this, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, this is one of the GOAT episodes. I'm saying it, 10 out of 10 episode right off the bat. Loved everything about this episode. It was next to perfection. And if you're unfamiliar with this episode, the whole idea is it's a continuation from episode 9. And episode 9 is basically they get away with Gunray. Gunray needs to be recaptured by the Republic. They sent a tracking beacon, that sort of things. So they actually end up dropping the tracking beacon in General Grievous's secret lair before General Grievous arrives. Now, General Grievous doesn't know that they've actually left the beacon there due to Dooku's command, and Dooku basically says he needs to prove, General Grievous needs to prove himself, because they feel like, he's becoming weaker, he's not making quota, basically. So Dooku's giving him a pretty big test. Saying that Darth Sidious requires more dead Jedi. One of the best quotes from Dooku. Oh man, if you haven't seen that holo, I recommend looking up General Grievous fucking AMV or whatever right now, or General Grievous tribute. Holy shit, man. If you don't like Grievous, I guarantee watching a General Grievous tribute. Get your mind out of the gutter. Those people are thinking about it. I'm not talking about mason jar type shit. I'm talking about like AMV type fucking videos, alright? Music videos type shit. The OG kids are gonna know, alright? Just saying. Anyways. Yeah, this is one of my GOAT picks for episodes. Now, this doesn't include Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, any of the main cast whatsoever. I don't even think Palpatine's on screen. It includes Dooku testing his henchmen by giving him an unexpected drop, So, Kit Fisto basically arrives with his untrained Padawan, does such a good job at showing what happens when Padawans get rushed through their training. They're more prone to the dark side, but also in this episode you get to see his lack of training shows that he has very little resolve. It's pretty much like he's very sporadic, very like, we need to defeat enemy, we need to get in, we need to kill everything in there, and then mission complete, we go home, done. And the Jedi are more about, we need to take everything as we go. As Kit Fisto tries to show him by opening the fancy door in General Grievous's lair. Once they arrive, they kill some battle droids. We get the 4 clone troopers, all sick fucking designs. I don't think Lego's ever made it. If Lego ever makes it, I'm gonna fucking buy all of them. Hopefully maybe a Clone Wars anniversary we get something like that. Holy shit, that would be amazing. But yeah, so the 4 red clone troopers, GOAT designs, by the way. Every clone trooper has some of the sickest paint jobs I've ever seen in any sort of fucking troop media, like army, whatever the fuck. Bro, clones are just built different when it comes to design, just saying. But they infiltrate the lair, and they prepare to actually sneak attack Grievous, assuming that Grievous doesn't actually know, assuming Grievous doesn't know that there's people already there. And the reason why they don't know is because when they think they're about to get Gunray, he appears to be a hologram, and he basically holds up the L on his forehead, and he starts doing that Fortnite dance, losers. And then his hologram turns off, and then Dooku's basically like, basically, I've set bait, and I'm bringing something here, and, we gonna find out who the bait is, either Grievous or the Jedi. So, very interesting enough. You can tell there's little hints in the beginning of the episodes. Dooku purposely is doing this to either see if General Grievous is worthy enough to continue leading the droid army, or if General Grievous is weak enough to die from just a mere 2 Jedi and Padawan, when he's supposed to be the ones eliminating them. You get that impression very early on, especially when Grievous enters his lair, and he finds all of his droids turned off. He finds, medical droids, like, whining about stuff being turned off, and he thought it was him. But not only that, so General Grievous arrives, and he starts looking around, and then he gets ambushed, and they try to, like, get General Grievous to surrender, which is very much like the Republic. So I appreciate that, because a lot of these scenes where it's like, you know, villain gets ambushed, it's like, why not just shoot the villain, be done? Someone like Kit Fisto definitely gives off the vibe early on, like, no, 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 listen, young Padawan, all right, I know you haven't been trained that well, but we need to still act like the Republic here. We need to still have honor. We need to still have dignity in the Jedi, you know. And he's very much just like, you know, if he surrenders, you know, and that's the overall goal. What ends up happening is that Grievous pulls the good old 4 lightsabers trick, and he whips out the sabers and he starts battling the Jedi Padawan and the clones. Clones eventually attach to him via grappling guns, and then they're trying to pull him down. The Jedi, I think it was Kit Fisto, cuts his legs off, General Grievous's legs off. So General Grievous retreats to the ceiling, and he literally he crawls his way to like a hiding spot, basically, to get the fuck away from them, with his 4 arms, like a Giga Chad, you know? But yeah, like a freaky spider. As a kid, that probably haunted my dreams for a couple days. Seeing a man get cut in half and then just fucking, like, spider leg walk his way out of there. Pretty cool scene. General Grievous gets away, hides in a door. They start looking around. General Grievous basically is fucked up. Medical droid comes by and is like, okay, I'm gonna have to repair you, whatever. Meanwhile, the Jedi and the clones start exploring. They also come across the rooms of General Grievous's original race. Now, if you don't know, yes, General Grievous is in fact a cyborg. He has the brain of his original race. I can't remember what their names are, but he has like the brain of what he used to be, but it has a lot of genetic modifications in his brain, to make him more aggressive, to make him potentially force sensitive, which doesn't end up working, failed experiment type shit. But overall, really cool concept, and you get to see what General Grievous probably looked like before ending up as a cyborg. You get to see many statues. You get to see like some scenes that maybe he had depicted in his honor for doing them or something. And his Magna Guard he even treats as like his own personal bodyguard, which in lore technically, you know, I've dabbled a little bit into, you know, analyzing evil, alright? But yeah, General Grievous basically had his own guard when he was his original race, and he decided to, you know, get these Magna Guards working and train the Magna Guards as if they were his own. Something a little interesting and something a little, like, you know, not humanizing, but like whatever race he is, anizing, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. And we get to see the repair process of someone like General Grievous. They do an in-depth look at, you know, his legs being removed, his face mask being taken off, you know? And as a kid, it's like, if you're a kid watching this, bro, you grew up in the trenches, alright? But, yeah, overall, really sick scene. And this scene is just, this episode is just so perfect at showing you things. Like, normally when you're watching a really good show, you're like, fuck, man, I wish they did more with this character. You know, like, a good example, let's say, you see a commander in the Clone Wars, and you're like, fuck, he looks so cool, I wish they did more. Clone Wars is just so good at being like, oh, you want to see more of him? I bet. Here's an episode dedicated to them. You know what I mean? They don't do it for everything, but they do it for a large cast. And General Grievous is one of them. You know, like when I'm watching, like an animated series, like Arcane, like a Invincible, like a Vox Machina, I'm typically looking at all the characters, and I know there's like some that are meant to be like pushed forward, and then some are like the backline. I'm almost always curious about the backline because I think they're sometimes like not knowing stuff about a character is just cool because you can imagine what it is. But the Clone Wars is so good at like making your imagination come to real life, because it's like, damn, General Grievous is the cyborg. Okay, well, like, you know, how does he get repaired type shit, you know what I mean? But you get to see the whole process. You know, that was my fucking bedtime alarm. You didn't hear that. Anyways, but yeah, you get to see the repair process. You get to see how he stores all of his gear, his equipment, his lightsabers, his collection of dead Jedi, like those fucking, I don't know what they're called, like the hair pieces from dead Jedi, trophies, what race he even looked like. You get so many answers to so many questions I'm sure General Grievous fans had. And this is so early on. Like, this is season 1. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, this guy's around the whole 7 seasons, you know? And we get this much background early on. It's just such a good episode to represent General Grievous as a quality henchman from Dooku. You get to see their relationship a little bit more, similar to Cloak of the Shadow, or Cloak of Shadows, I think the previous episode 9. You get to see Ventress kind of be, you know, relationship with Dooku. Dooku's like, you know, you disappointed me, don't disappoint me again, schnookums, you know what I mean? Where this is more just like, you failed me, now you will have to fight or you will die, you know? You need to prove to me through violence, that you deserve your position as the general or second-hand man, you know? Very interesting things to be revealed so early on. And the development between Dooku and General Grievous. Everything about this episode was just so good. Even the fact that the clones ended up dying, so you don't really remember their names, even though they had such a well-designed thing. But you get to see, like, an alien come out. It's not a Rancor, but it's like a... I think they're called Husks. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, you know, I believe they're called Husks. I believe they were the things that General Grievous's original race was actually fighting. If that's not true, I might have just made all that up in my head, but I believe that's what it is. I thought it was pretty cool. It shows up, the Jedi defeat it. General Grievous is like pissed off because because they did it. General Grievous kind of gets tricked by leaving his office early, so the Jedi sneak in. But the Padawan wants to 1v1 Grievous, and that turns out to be one of his biggest mistakes, because Grievous is not afraid to use his guards, and, you know, just overpowering the Padawan, slaughtering... Fuck, I can't... Nadim? Nadon? Ned something. I can't remember his fucking name, bro. The fish guy. The race that's, it's a trap. You know what I mean? That dude. I don't remember their race, or what his name was. Nadar, maybe? Might have been Nadar. Was it Nadar? I don't think it was Nadar. I can't fucking remember his name. Oh well, fish dude. Yeah, he gets slaughtered. And then nice little nods here and there, you know? And that's what Clone Wars is really good at doing. That's why I consider it a 10 out of 10 episode. There's so many nice little nods, you know? Picks up the Padawan's lightsaber. Doesn't need it because he's already using 4, and he used 4 to kill him. But he uses it when he re-encounters Kit Fisto after Kit Fisto tries to escape with his ship, you know? Some really cool, you know, nods where General Grievous is using that lightsaber to try to kill Fisto. And, you know, we get a nice back and forth between the two, where, you know, Kit Fisto's clearly in the lab, Grievous knows he's in the lab, and he just watches Padawan die, so he literally looks at the camera, and he's like, I'm gonna kill all of you, you know? Just really, it's just nice because it just increases, like, this episode did a fantastic job of giving General Grievous aura, because up until this point, like, General Grievous, outside of the 2003 Clone Wars, is kind of a pussy, you know? If you've watched the old films, he doesn't really do much other than lose to Obi-Wan. That's kind of what he's known for, you know? And then in the previous episodes of this season, he kind of just runs away from combat, occasionally engaging with Jedi, but he doesn't really kill them. He doesn't really, like, win fights convincingly. You know, he kind of looks like a coward chicken shit. This episode made him look like the badass that he truly is, you know? Like, he's a savage who, once he gets damaged, he goes to his lair, he rebuilds up, he's got all these fucking trophies of everyone he's slaughtered, Jedi specifically, and he's got all his armor ready so that he can fucking get right back into the action and start killing more Jedi, which he then does in this episode, you know? Granted, it was a technical Padawan, but he was considered a Jedi Knight, so it's just another, you know, tally on the list. So many good things about this episode, and it just reminds, like, when I watch episode 8, for example, I'm like, okay, this is kind of what I'm expecting. Filler, Jar Jar Binks does goofy stuff, Padme Amidala is like the main character. Okay, just filler shit, right? When I watch episode 10, I'm like, oh my god, like, it just hits so hard. It's like, oh, that nostalgia just makes me want to cream, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's just a good, really goated episode, you know, just one of the greats, especially for a season 1 episode. Yeah, I'm putting it 10 out of 10. I don't think I can give it any less. You know, how can you... I don't understand anyone who could hate this episode, nor hate Grievous after this episode, because I think it's that good, you know? It's almost like, when you think of Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace, okay, so he kills a Jedi and then he dies. Whatever, right? And then he comes back in the Clone Wars and you're like, yo, hold my beer. Yo, this motherfucker's sick. You know what I mean? It's one of these moments where it's just like, damn, General Grievous is kind of a coward chicken shit, you know? And now he's probably about to die because Dooku's sending goons to his lair, you know? And then he just ends up slaughtering one and forcing the other one to run away like a bitch, you know? Also showing the race, everything. Just, oh, it's so good, man. This is what Star Wars is about. So happy to be rewatching the series. But with all that being said, that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. Oh yeah, the beast name was Gore. You know, even naming the beast and not calling it by a race, like, it's just so... Oh, it's so good, man. Like, this series is so fucking good. You know, Disney just needs to... Bro, whatever writer you have, I don't give a fuck, Disney, alright? Make them watch the Clone Wars, and you, Disney, need to be like, I want this. I want this remastered, alright? I want this to be the level... The fucking bar, alright? I don't want none of this Acolyte Obi-Wan bullshit, alright? I want some Giga Chad fucking writing up in here, alright? But yeah, with all that being said, you know, this is my review. A little bit of a longer one. I love this episode. It is one of the GOATs. 10 out of 10, episode 10, Layer of Grievous. So with all that being said, I want to thank you for watching, making it to the end of this video, and as always, I hope you have a good day.